Well, I'm back, y'all. Shit, man, it's time to talk about that harvest box. The way I ended that last snap band thing. So, welcome to the show. That last snap video about the ban on junk food. Well, it's some more. It's some more photos right out there. So let's get into this show. And something else is back. A harvest box. Now, I'm trying to think a long time ago when we were little kids. I do remember getting that big block of cheese and making them real juicy, milky, mouth-watering cheese toast sandwiches we used to make, and always having cheese for our spaghetti. But that was back in the day. That was when, like, to me, food was still close to its rawest form with less coloring and stuff, like in the 70s and the 80s. So let's get on with the show. That's a little insight on one of the ways we was raised up when we were little kids. But I got another food stamp thing to crack y'all up about later. So check this video out. Let me see. I need to take a glance at the thumbnail. Oh, let's look at some of the reports and the updates. Now, right here, we got our boy. Here's some of the food changes. 10 huge food stamp changes.
There are
Now, we ain't going to watch all of them. We're just going to watch a little bit of it.
New Mexico. Right now, they are accepting applications for the $120 per child as part of the program. Guys, this is nothing new. We're all aware of this program. If your child receives EBT or food assistance, they're automatically enrolled. If not,
and that's what I remember, like, during the pandemic. Hey, because I have a child, I got certain benefits and food. I even had, based on the area that we lived in, he even got that card from this nonprofit from the Torrance side of town, where they went to the Gap, and then they got to buy everything that's on the list. And man, he cleaned up, boy. I'm talking about he cleaned up because he's tall and lanky. Sometimes it's hard finding clothes for young kids that's tall and skinny at the same time. So, and I remember these summer EBT programs.
then that's when you actually need to go ahead and complete an application to make sure that they're able to get the benefits. Now, remember, families will have 122 days to use the benefits from the day that they are issued, but it seems like a lot of states are issuing out the benefits a lot earlier in May, in June. That is $40 per month just for the summer benefits. So if you have not received any information stating that you're going to get it, reach out to the school system because you should be able to go ahead and sign up for it right now.
Now I'm going to go and check out this other one. Let me see. Let's check out the college side.
Public universities in Illinois to benefit from the program if they meet like income and other eligibility requirements. And then they also have Senate Bill 32, which will allow households that have a veteran or a member of the armed forces to be eligible for SNAP benefits with 200% of the poverty level as well. So it can increase like your monthly income limit to $5,200, and you would still be allowed to have SNAP benefits with those veterans in your household. So I think both of them are great bills, but a lot is changing.
Check out that bill though, see, because right at the top, this was April the 8th when this was issued. So
changing when it comes to our veterans as well as the college students. Right next to Indiana, we have Illinois, where they want to be the first state to go ahead and block candy soda from being purchased with SNAP benefits. Guys, today 9 executive orders were signed.
Woo!
And it was to do the following, like for able-bodied SNAP recipients, for them to have a path to find a job that requires no prior experience. They want to reinstate the income and asset verification. They want to call for a federal change to make SNAP, to make it more entrepreneurial. They wanted disclosures in foods and dyes. They wanted more comprehensive studies on diet-related chronic illness. They wanted to crack down on Medicaid eligibility errors, as well as establish a governor's fitness test and school fitness month. They also
See?
wanted to increase access to direct customer food from local Indiana farmers. All these things was signed today. So Indiana is stating they do want to make America healthy again, and they want to be the first state that leads the way.
Wow. Did you hear those changes? Because, like I said, my son is 17, and they don't enforce PE like in the ninth and 10th grade. He had PE, and then it just went away during the 11th grade. So no wonder we have a pandemic problem. If they're doing this at a LA unified school district, imagine what they're doing in the other states. So it's like, hey, it is we're gonna look at some more of those updates, but this is the part that really cracked me up, and this will be fair use. Is when I went to this guy's show, he always do Social Security benefits. He's a financial planner, and when I went to his show, it tripped me out that he even had this kind of stuff up there. And fair use, it's like this time right here. So this one right here we go. I made sure that I don't mess up this time. That's what I'm talking about. Where should we start? Yeah, let's start right here first. SNAP benefits. What to expect? Harvest Box making a comeback. Y'all see that at the top? Trip on.
I have seen this in 3 different news publications. Here it is. Trump's previous budgets outlined major changes to SNAP. His 2021 budget proposals included introducing additional work requirements, as well as a Harvest Box initiative, which will replace a significant portion of SNAP benefits with a monthly government-selected box of shelf-stable foods, limiting households' ability to choose their own groceries. And then this is another news headline: how Trump administration could leave families hungry, potential cuts to SNAP in 2025 and beyond. And here it is again. It says the largest cut Trump attempted was to withhold a portion of benefits and instead provide recipients a box of non-perishable food. That is the Harvest Box. And then here it is again in another.
Now, that's the part that trips me out. You would think that is he doing this because he couldn't do it the last time? But now you got Kennedy. Now, Kennedy probably giving them some side eye. I don't know. And you got Dr. Oz there. Now, this is not paraphrasing. Is this just to make sure that you know that y'all at least buying some stuff that's in some of these cans? Now, what I do with some of my canned goods, I rinse them out, as y'all saw in some of my shows. When I do certain things, I use the strainer and I take all the salt out of the beans and stuff and make my own version of refried beans or whatever that I'm cooking. So, until then, let's just dig into some more of what he's saying right here.
Another news headline: Trump's past budgets have envisioned much more sweeping cuts. His last one proposed a nearly 30% cut to the program, including a new requirement on top of already harsh work requirements, and a plan to shift a big share of the program into a Harvest Box, a plan which household would not get the choice or the chance to buy their own food, but instead to be sent a monthly box of shelf-stable foods that the government picks. And so it's going to gut the program and return some of it in form of a can or shelf-stable foods that will be mailed to you every month. And the logistics alone of mailing food to 42 million people in the country blows my mind. But this
now it blows my mind, but one part of my mind is thinking this, y'all. One part of my mind is basically thinking that, does this mean that it would be some new employment and jobs right on the line? And if so, we need answers. News reporters really need to be out there. We need answers. With these jobs coming on the line, for it to do this kind of infrastructure, will it be a better upgrade on what perishable items that the individuals should be getting? So, we'll see. But meanwhile, so far, things is looking
This is what they're
good.
trying to do to save money, but it's really to rip you of your right to buy the food that you want. People who have health issues, who are allergic to certain foods, who have problems eating certain food or digesting certain food, will now be given foods that they have no choice in picking, which is what is being proposed. And the House Agricultural Committee Chair.
Now, he did bring up some good points, but still, that's why I mentioned that part, because will the program be upgraded?
Thompson is fully on board with gutting the program and taking $230 billion from the food stamps program. And previously, when Trump wanted to do this harvest box idea, he outlined it in his budget. It was $181 billion in savings, and $123 billion of it was the harvest box. As you can see in the list that I've provided, cut SNAP benefits and shift a portion to food boxes. That was the previous budget, and now they're bringing.
That was the previous budget back when he of 2021. So that was when he was coming out of office, but it backfired.
This idea back again in order to save money and pass the biggest tax cuts for the rich we've ever seen in a long time. So what is the second change that is coming? They're going to cut food stamps very deeply, and a lot of people are going to be impacted. I want to share with you who exactly is going to be impacted by these deep cuts, because food pantries are even preparing, they're bracing themselves because they know what's coming. So let's talk about the 10 ways by which the GOP cuts to food stamps is going to affect ordinary people. The first one is reduced monthly benefit. The proposal to limit updates to the Thrifty Plan would directly cut the current average benefit of $620 per day. That is how much the average person gets in SNAP benefits per day, which is already insufficient for many families. These reductions will force difficult choices between food and other necessities like medicine, utilities, as many recipients already report their benefits run out before the end of the month. The second change is expanded work requirement. Current work requirements for adults between 18 and 54 would be expanded, and this is where seniors need to pay attention, and veterans. It's going to be expanded to include age 55 to 65, and veterans and young adults who are aging out of foster care. This would particularly harm older Americans who face age discrimination in employment and those with undiagnosed health conditions that make consistent work difficult but don't qualify for disabilities. Then there's a loss of state flexibility, converting SNAP to a block grant. The block grant is the worst idea ever. What they're going to do is that regardless of how many people are in a state that need help, they're going to send the state a pot of money by population. So if your state runs out of that money, then it's out of luck.
Woo! And then a lot of these states, a lot of these states do be coming up short. So that's one of the things I wanted to show you over here. But let's get over here and see what they're doing over there at the other state of Miss Huckleberry. Do y'all want to see what the Huckleberry is doing? Well, it's time to see what the Huckleberry is really doing. Let's go over and see if we can get a gander, because I put her on the list for us to be looking at, because she's out there where some of our family members are. And it's right here. So let's get this part cracking, the governor.
Grocery list for many Arkansans. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders submitted a waiver to the USDA today looking to bring new changes to the SNAP program. Arkansas.
Now, he's going to talk about that, so let's speed it up.
Junk food has been a hot topic on Capitol Hill for months, and now the debate is heating up in Arkansas.
This is a first step in what I hope will be a broader conversation about the food stamp program.
Arkansas is set to become one of the first states to ask the federal government for permission to ban junk food from SNAP purchases. 1/3
of our state has diabetes or is pre-diabetic. When the numbers are that high, it's important for us to examine a system that actively encourages and subsidizes unhealthy, highly processed, addictive products.
To kick things off, the governor announced submitting a waiver to the USDA aimed at encouraging healthier eating habits among families.
We plan to use SNAP dollars to expand nutrition education in our schools, and we will look to make additional changes to the program in the future. In our waiver, we are also requesting to add rotisserie chicken, an affordable, healthy protein source, to the list of approved SNAP items.
U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins joined the governor for the announcement.
The largest spend of that $100 billion for those who are on these programs is not on fruit or vegetables or protein or rotisserie chicken or whole milk. It's on soda.
She's leading the national effort and holds the authority.
Now that is a big problem, because a lot of that stuff be going to, like, birthday parties and other parties and the big people parties, and so party time is over. Party time just seems like it's over now. People are going to have to use real money and real cash. You know what I mean? Party time is just completely over. Because like our girl Sanfray say, she be having some reaction that be off the chain when it comes to these food stamps and SNAP benefits and EBT. That lady be like getting the crowd. They be like peed off. And this is the reaction that was jumping off on her show. See, because when news first hit, so many people was really up here clowning. And the clowning was so scream, trip off of what some of them was saying. It was a scream, y'all.
In the day, but not even back in the day, as of late, if you not working, you get food stamps. But see, once I start working, y'all take them from me. See, once I start working, you take them from me, and then nobody can ever get ahead. See, that was the problem. But now Trump is about to change that thing. He's saying, if you're working, I think it's a certain amount of hours you got to work. Now I'm going to give you food stamps. Well, that's the best way for a person to get ahead. You know how many people working want to get food stamps? You know how many working families, husband and wife, making a decent income, wish they can get food stamps just to get a little leg up in life? Because that's all that it is. It's assistance to get you to where you don't need the government anymore. And guess what? They don't like that. They want you to always need government to take care of you. And Trump is coming in there to change that thing. He's coming in there to say, hey, look, we don't need to take care of you. We can help you so you can then enable yourself to take care of yourself. That's exactly what we need.
Do you get what she's saying?
Yeah.
We want you to get a job. We're going to help you get a job. You get a job, work that job. And you know what's going to happen next after we see that you can work 20 hours or more?
Yeah.
You're going to get cut off. You're going to be cut off.
That's what's going to happen. And then is this.
Some of y'all, they get the food stamps. It's going to be a change with those food stamps. It's been a long time coming. Long time coming. And I'm not mad at this at all. I'm not mad. Listen to this right here.
There's a bunch of obese people on this app losing their shit because President Trump, along with RFK Jr., wants to eliminate the purchase of junk food with food stamps. And that's a good thing. Look, if you want to feed that crap to your kids, you need to do it on your own dime, not the American taxpayers' dime. We're not here to help your children get diabetes. I went to pick up my daughter from school yesterday, and 80% of the kids that were leaving school were morbidly obese. I'm fucking Gen X. We didn't see any of that shit. Everybody was healthy. Everybody was fit. We need to nip this shit in the butt now. It's a health crisis, and you shouldn't want to give that shit to your kids anyway. It is deadly.
And I just wanted to show y'all that clip there. So feel free to go over there and check out Sanfray React. And thank you for coming to MC Recovery Reaction Show, where I have a lot of recovery videos. If you're sponsoring somebody in the 12 steps, go look at the early live videos that I did earlier when we was in the pandemic, where I went live and I showed my inventory, the first step, and even went to some spots where I used to drink and get loaded at, and a whole lot of other madness that jumped off. Until then,